Good morning. Here we go. Let's check it out. How to factor polynomials. Specifically, how to factor trinomials. Check out this video. You'll be one of the smartest people in the world. Let's get it done and make it easy peasy. Make the hard things simple. Here we go. First part is, if I can get this thing to click over, that'd be awesome. All right. The first one we have a trinomial that looks like x squared plus 8x plus 15. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and draw a box. We're going to kind of stay with this box method that we had before. Drawing it right there, and right there. Okay, so here's my box. Now we know that usually this x squared comes from this square right here. So I'm going to write the x squared in there because that's where it comes from. This 15, sorry, I should have circled this plus sign too. This 15 comes from that last square. So I'm going to write a 15 in here. Now I need to figure out what is going to go inside of these little weird squares right here that I don't know that they're empty. Well, let me go back up a little bit and let me figure out what I do know for sure. Well, I do know that I'm going to have an x squared in this first one. Now, if you remember from how to multiply binomials, go back and watch that video if you forgot. But to get into this square, you have to multiply. And the only things that are going to multiply to get me an x squared is an x and an x. So I know that an x belongs there and an x belongs there. So I'm good there. I'm great. Now I've got to figure out some numbers that multiply to give me 15, but also are going to turn into a little peanut pair. This is what the peanut pair is going to be like right here. And that peanut pair is going to have to give me this 8x right here. Okay, so here we go. I know this. I've set up my x's on the outside because I know those will give me x squareds. Now the goal is figure out this 15. So I'm going to write down this 15. And I'm going to break him up into all the factors that multiply to get me a 15. So I brought my calculator with me. That way I don't have to do a lot of mental math right now. I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in 15 divided by x. Trust me, it's going to help you out. Trust me. This table that you're about to see is going to make this worth it. So the 15 up here divided by x. Now I'm going to go to the table. I go to second table, and now I just start writing all the pretty whole numbers, starting with 1. So I've got 1 and 15. I've got 3 and 5. I skipped the 2 and the 7.5 because I don't want to mess with the decimal. So 3 and 5, and I've got 5 and 3, and I already have the 5 and 3. I have a 3 and 5 up here already. I don't need to repeat the numbers. So all I really need to have is 1 and 15, 3 and 5, and I can stop there because then the pattern's about to go backwards, and then I'll get a 15 and 1, which I don't need because I already have it up there. So whenever you get to where these numbers start repeating, don't bother writing them down because we already have them. Okay, so here we go. I've got 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Now I have to play a game. This 8x right here, I've got to hit that 8 somehow. I've got to get this 1 and 15 to somehow equal to 8, or this 3 and the 5 to somehow equal to 8. So I'm going to go to my calculator again, just so I don't have to bust my brain doing this. And I'm going to type in the first one. I'm going to go 1 plus 15. Like right now I'm going plus everything. So I'm going 1 plus 15 gives me a 16. So I can get a 16 with this. Now I'm going to go 1 minus, I'm going to go 1 minus 15, or I can get a 14. So I can either get a 16 with the 1 and the 15, or I can get a 14 with the 1 and the 15. And the number that I need is an 8. So this is not an 8. I don't have 8s there. So that's not, no, I can't use the 1 and 15. I know that for sure. Now I'm going to clear it. Now I'm going to mess with the 3 and the 5. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add them together. So I got a 3 plus 5, enter, and I get an 8. There's the 8 that I wanted. Now, just for the sake of learning about this, I'm going to go 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5. And I get a 2. I don't care that it's a negative 2. I just care that I get a 2 here. I see the 2. So the possibilities are I can get an 8 or I can get a 2. Then I can mess with the signs to make this a negative 8. Then I can mess with these signs to make it a negative 2 if I needed a 2. But I know I had to hit an 8, and I found my 8. And lucky enough for us, this is a perfect, like it matches, it's a perfect match. If this is a positive 8 and that's a positive 8, in which case these are the perfect numbers that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a 3 and I'm going to use a 5 and I'm done. So I'm going to put the 3 up here. Sorry, it's a plus 3. And I'm going to put a plus 5 right here and I'm finished. That's it. So now I just got to write these guys in their little pairs. So this is, the top one is x plus 3. The bottom one is x plus 5. Finished. I just factored this trinomial. Easy peasy. Here, so I have x squared minus 4x minus 21. Oh my gosh, how the heck do I do this? No problem. We're going to bust out our little box. There's our box. Make the little 4 areas. You already know, because you know how to multiply binomials, that this first term, this x squared, goes in this box. And this minus 21 goes in the last box. You already know that. If you don't know that, go back and figure out how to multiply binomials. Now the game is, I need to figure out the peanut pair that goes right here that will get me a negative 4x. So on the outside on top here, something multiplies to something else to give me an x squared. Well, if I have an x there and an x there, those guys will go in and combine to equal an x squared. So I know that these are correct. X belongs up here, x belongs right there. Now I don't know what goes up here next to him, but I have this last number over here in the corner, this negative 21, and I'm going to write down that negative 21. Or you don't have to write down a negative 20. I'm going to write it down just to be a good guy. So I got a negative 21. Now here we go. I'm going to write down all the factors that multiplied to get me a negative 21. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in a negative 21 divided by x, second table. And I'm going to start off with 1, and I'm taking only the whole numbers. So it's 1 and a negative 21. It's 3. Okay, it's 3 and a negative 7. And then it goes 7 and negative 3. But I already have a 3 and a 7, so I don't need that. I can stop. There. These are all the factors that will get me a negative 21. Now, if you remember what we did last time, I have to somehow use these numbers right here, either this set or this set, to get me to a negative 4. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put each pair into the calculator and see what the possibilities are that they can give me. So calculator it up. Here it is. Let's get out of there. Go to the home screen. I'm going to type in 1 plus 21. So 1 plus 21. So I can possibly hit a 22 if I needed a 22. Now I'm going to subtract. 1 subtract 21. Or I can hit a 20 with this pair. So I can combine these guys to give me a 22 or a 20. I don't need a 20. I need to get a freaking 4. So that's, no, I don't need that. So it's not going to be this top pair. Now I'm going to do the 3 plus 7. I can hit a 10 with a 3 and a 7. Now I'm going to go 3 subtract 7. Or I can hit a 4 with a 7. So I can hit a 10 or a 4. Hey, I need to hit a negative 4. So this is I'm gonna use this pair. I know I'm gonna use this pair. So now I gotta use this pair correctly to where I get a negative 4. So I'm just gonna try with the way it looks right now. Like here, if I tried them both positive, if I went 3 plus 7, I got a 10. I don't want to have them both positive. Now let me try 3 minus 7. That gives me my negative 4. Hey, I hit the negative 4 with a positive 3 and a negative 7. So I'm going to write down the positive 3 right here and the negative 7 up there. And now I just got to write these guys together. So it's going to be parentheses x plus 3, parentheses x minus 7. You are finished. That is the factor of the trinomial. You just factored your trinomial. Great job. Here we go. I have x squared minus 7x plus 12. Let's factor this trinomial. Here we go. I'm going to make my box. There's my box. What goes in this top square? You better know that the first term goes in this first square. The last square goes that 12. What goes here? I don't know. That's what we got to figure out. But whatever goes there has to hit that negative 7. So I know that an x on top will multiply to get in here, and an x right here. These guys, x times x gives me an x squared. So I know these answers are correct. I don't know what goes in for the 12, but I do know that I better put my 12 out here on the side and list all the factors that make up that 12. So I go to the calculator, I go to y equals, I type in 12 divided by x. That way it could generate this little table right here. Now I'm going to write down the factors starting with 1. So it's 1 and 12, and then it's 2 and 6, 3 and 4, 4 and 8. I already have a 4 and a 3. It's right up here. I don't need to repeat that, because if I write the other numbers down, it's just going to repeat the whole set. I don't want to repeat these numbers. I have what I need right here. So now here we go. Now the goal is I have to hit a -7. I've got to combine these guys to hit a -7. So here we go. I'm going to test the first group. Go to the home screen. I'm going to type in 1 plus 12. That gives me a 13. And then I'm going to type in 1 minus 12. And that gives me an 11. I'm ignoring the negative sign. I'm just going to write down an 11 right here. So I can either hit a 13 or 11 with a 1 and a 12. But I'm trying to hit a -7, so that's not going to work. That's not going to work. This first pair will not work. Now I go to the next pair. It's 2 plus 6, and that gives me an 8. So I'm going to write down an 8. Then it's 2 subtract 6, and that gives me a 4. I'm ignoring the negative here because it's not important right now. So 4. I need to hit a 7 though, a -7. So that's not an 8, not a 4. No. So that pair does not work. Now here you go, next one. I'm going to go 3 plus 4. Hey, there's my 7. I hit my 7. That's the one I wanted. 7 is right there. I can stop if I wanted to, but let's just keep going for the sake of you seeing everything. I can hit a 7 with a 3 and a 4, and I can also hit a 1 with a 3 and a 4. So here you go. I got a 3. I can hit a 7 or a 1. Which one? Hey, I want to hit a 7. Good. I found it, so I'm going to use this pair. 3 and a 4. Now I have to use that pair correctly to make these guys turn into a -7. So here we go. I'm going to go 3 plus 4 gives me, 3 plus 4 gives me a 7. So I'm going to write this down. I'm going to go 3 plus 4 equals 7. That's incorrect. I want to get a -7. 3 minus 4 gives me a -1. 3 and a -4 gives you a -1. That's also not correct. Well, let's go ahead and swap these signs around now. So let's put the 4 in the front and then subtract 3 and see if that works. 4 will subtract 3. Nope, that just gives me a +1. Well, how in the world am I going to hit this -7? Well, here's how you're going to do it. Let's try making both numbers negative. So I'm going to go -3 minus 4. There's my -7. So if you made both numbers negative, -3 minus 4 there, that will give you your -7. So -3 minus 4 gave me that -7, so I'm going to write it down. -3 with the -4, and that's my pair right there. X minus 3 and x minus 4. This is the factor of that trinomial, and I'm finished with this problem. Awesome job. Now I have x squared plus 7x minus 18. Here we go. Draw your box. There he is. Nice. This is probably the best box I've drawn today. I know that x squared goes in the first square, and I know this -18 goes in the last square. So I know that something has to multiply into here to get into this square. So there's an x there and an x there. When these guys meet up in this square, it's going to give you an x squared. So I know that for sure. I'm done there. Now I've got to figure out what this peanut pair is that will get me to a +7. It's +7x. So now I'm going to write down this -18. I put him here on the side. Now I'm going to list all the factors that get me to a -18. So I got -18 divided by x second graph. So it's going to be 1 and -18, 2 and -9, 3 and -6, 4 gives you decimal, 5 is a decimal, then I have 6, and I already have a 6 and a 3. Don't rewrite that list. Okay, So I'm great. I'll stop right there. Now I can work with all these numbers that I have above me. Now I have to hit a 7 somehow with any pair of these numbers. So here I go. Let me get out of there, go to the home screen. 1 plus 18 is a 19. So I could possibly hit a 19 with a 1 and an 18. 1 minus 18 is a 17. So using the 1 and the 18, I can either get a 19 or I can get a 17. None of these are what I want, so this pair is not going to be the pair I'm going to use. So now let's go to the next one. I have 2 plus 9, and that gives me an 11. What's up? That gives me an 11. Now I'm going to go 2 subtract 9, and that gives me a 5. No, it doesn't. 2 subtract 9 gives me a 7 if I type it in correctly. So I got an 11 or a 7. I'm trying to hit a 7. Hey, I found my 7. There he is. And it's going to be made with these numbers right here. So now all I've got to do is figure out what kind of signs do I need on these guys. So I got a 2 plus 9. That gives me the 11. So I'm going to write down here, that way I know what I tested. 2 plus 9 gives it 11. No, so they're both not positive. Let's try the 2 minus 9. 2 minus 9 gives me a negative 7. So I'm getting close, man. I've got the 7 here, but it just has the wrong sign. If you have the wrong sign when you're doing this, but you get the right number, try switching them. So I'm going to go positive 9 right here, subtract 2. Let's see what happens. 9 subtract 2 gives me a positive 7. That's the positive 7 that I was trying to get, so I got him. The numbers are positive 9 and minus 2. So I'm going to write them down right here. A positive 9 minus 2. Now I just got to put these guys together, and I'll be finished. So I'm going to write it right here on this top corner because I have no space. X minus 2 and x plus 9, and you are finished. You have just factored that trinomial. Woo! Good stuff. All right, here we go. Next one. Hey, we're done. Hey guys, with great power comes super great responsibility. Be sure you use this math correctly. Help yourself out first. Get everything you can. Pause the video, rewind it, whatever you need to do. Get it for yourself first, and then help a neighbor, and then help your teacher out by getting some really good grades. Alrighty guys, we need more people that can get the right stuff done and be really wise and use this wisdom. So we need more heroes. Be awesome. Have a super good day. I'll see you later.